The moment this small boy stepped onto the stage, no one expected the judges to break down in tears within seconds, but what happened next changed his life forever and shocked the entire nation. This is not just an audition, it is a story of pain, courage, and a dream that refused to die. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because stories like this prove that hope can rise from the darkest places, and you do not want to miss moments that touch the soul. The theater was unusually quiet that evening, the kind of silence that feels heavy, as if everyone inside sensed something important was about to happen. The lights slowly dimmed, the audience settled into their seats, and the judges sat confidently behind their desk, smiling politely, ready for another performance. Thousands of auditions had passed through this stage, and yet, none of them prepared the judges for the small boy who now stood nervously in the center of the spotlight. He looked no older than 11. His clothes were worn, slightly oversized, and clearly borrowed or donated. His shoes were scuffed, and the laces were tied unevenly. His hair was neatly combed, but no matter how hard he tried to stand straight, his shoulders carried a weight far heavier than his small body should ever have to bear. When the camera zoomed in on his face, viewers could see it immediately. This was not the face of a child who had lived an easy life. One of the judges leaned forward and gently asked his name. The boy swallowed hard before answering, his voice soft but respectful. He introduced himself and said he came from a small town where most people struggled just to survive. When asked why he decided to audition, he paused for a moment that felt like forever. The audience thought he might be too nervous to speak, but then he took a deep breath and said he was there to sing for his mother. The judges exchanged glances. That simple sentence carried more emotion than many grand speeches ever could. Another judge asked where his parents were now. The boy hesitated again, his eyes drifting toward the floor. He explained that his father had passed away several years earlier after a long illness, and since then, his mother had been raising him alone while working multiple jobs. He added quietly that sometimes she went to bed hungry so he could eat. That was the first crack. One judge's smile faded. Another's eyes softened. The audience shifted uncomfortably, already feeling the emotional pull of the boy's story. But the boy was not finished. He explained that music was the only thing that helped him forget the hunger, the cold nights, and the fear of losing their home. He said he used to sing softly beside his mother when she came home exhausted, just to make her smile. The host gently asked if he had ever performed on a stage before. The boy shook his head and said this was the first time he had ever held a microphone. He admitted he was terrified, but he believed that if he could sing well enough, maybe his life could change. Maybe his mother would not have to work so hard anymore. The room fell silent. Even before he sang a single note, something had shifted in the air. The music began slowly, almost hesitantly, as if it too was unsure of what was about to unfold. The boy closed his eyes, gripping the microphone with both hands, and then he sang. The first note was soft, fragile, and slightly trembling. But it was honest. So honest that it cut straight through the room. Within seconds, the trembling stopped, and his voice grew stronger, clearer, filled with emotion that no training could teach. It was the voice of a child who had known loss, sacrifice, and hope all at once. As he sang, the lyrics told a story of pain and longing, of nights spent praying for miracles, and mornings filled with uncertainty. The words felt personal, as if they were written from his own life. The camera cut to the judges, and that was when it happened. One judge covered their mouth, tears welling up instantly. Another judge's eyes turned red, their usual confident expression completely gone. The audience began to cry quietly, some holding their hands over their hearts. No one moved. No one coughed. No one even whispered. Every soul in that room was locked into the boy's voice. Halfway through the song, the music swelled, and the boy surprised everyone. He hit a powerful high note, pure and controlled, filled with emotion so raw it felt almost painful to hear. The judge, known for being the toughest critic, leaned back in their chair, shaking their head in disbelief. Tears rolled down their face openly, without any attempt to hide them. Then came the twist no one expected. As the boy sang the final chorus, his voice cracked, not from lack of skill, but from overwhelming emotion. He briefly stopped singing, lowered the microphone, and whispered an apology. The judges immediately shook their heads, silently urging him to continue. The audience began to clap softly in encouragement. He lifted the microphone again and said something that broke everyone. He said his mother was watching from home, and he hoped she was proud of him. Then he finished the song with everything he had left. The final note echoed through the theater, hanging in the air long after the music stopped. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the entire audience rose to their feet in a standing ovation so loud it felt like the walls were shaking. The boy stood frozen, unsure of what to do. Tears streamed down his face as he looked at the judges, waiting for their response. One judge stood up, clapping while wiping tears from their eyes. They said they had never cried so fast during an audition in their entire career. Another judge said the boy did not just sing a song, he told a life story that millions of people could relate to. The toughest judge of all took a deep breath and admitted that moments like this were the reason they joined the show. Then came another twist. The host asked the boy what he would do if he won the competition. Without hesitation, he said he would buy his mother a house so she would never have to worry again. That answer pushed the judges over the edge. One judge stood up slowly and walked toward the golden buzzer. The audience screamed, sensing what was about to happen. The boy's eyes widened in shock, his hands shaking uncontrollably. Before pressing the buzzer, the judge spoke directly to him. They said that talent can be trained, but heart cannot, and what he showed on that stage was something rare and powerful. They told him that his story, his voice, and his courage deserved to be heard by the world. The golden buzzer was pressed. Golden confetti exploded from above, raining down like a dream come true. The audience screamed and cried, the judges stood applauding, and the boy collapsed to his knees, overwhelmed by emotion. He covered his face, sobbing uncontrollably as the realization sank in. His life had just changed forever. As the confetti fell, the boy looked up, smiling through tears, and whispered thank you again and again. The camera cut to his mother watching from home, crying, covering her mouth in disbelief. That moment traveled far beyond the stage. It reached millions of homes across the country, reminding people that behind every voice is a story, and sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. And that was not the end. In the days that followed, the boy's audition went viral. Celebrities shared it. News outlets covered his story. Donations poured in to support his family. For the first time in his life, the future no longer felt like a dark tunnel, but an open road filled with possibility. All because one poor boy found the courage to sing his truth.